Hi there, crafty friends. Welcome and thank you for joining me. My name is Melissa Miller. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Southern California, and today I wanted to make a card using our olive branch stamp set. And in this stamp set, you get some great sentiments on here. We've got thank you for reaching out. It meant so much to me. Sorry. Peace, love, hope. And may your heart begin to heal. And I just really liked this larger olive branch image. And this is in our annual catalog. But just a reminder, we do still have celebration going on. It is through August 31st. So every $50 or $100 you spend out of the annual catalog or our mini holiday catalog, you can choose a free item. And I will also be using our stitched rectangles. I am using the second from the largest to cut out our image once we get it stamped. And I also used some Avery removable ID labels. Now, Stampin' Up! Has come out with masking paper, but I still have so much of this left that I haven't purchased any yet. So as soon as I use all this, I will definitely be using some of their masking paper. And I've also got my Stamparatus all set up. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, when I set this up, I did a little 1-inch spacer up here because I wasn't real sure where I was going to put my image. So let's go ahead and get that placed in there. And be careful with your magnets. Don't let them touch because they will stick together and then they might break. So what we're going to do here is we are going to use our lightest green. I've got soft seafoam. We're going to use that first, but then also I have gorgeous grape, old olive, and garden green. And we are going to take our soft seafoam because I want a real light image. I don't want this to be too dark. I just want to see where the olives are. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Let's stamp that on our paper. And just so you know, I did before we started, I stamped, you know what, I need that a little darker right in here. I did stamp on my masking paper, one image. And then I cut out my olives. So I've got those set aside. We will be using the cutout image and the reverse image. So we've got our image here. And what I'm going to do is, I've already done a couple cards here that I showed you. I'm just going to bring in my images and I'm going to cover up those olives just to protect them because I am going to do those in purple after we do our green. And I'm just going to place those on here. And that's why I just wanted a really light impression here of the soft seafoam color, just so I know where to place these to cover up those olives. And I think that's probably pretty good there. And it doesn't have to be perfect. They don't have to cover it perfect because your purple is pretty dark. So it will go over any green if you get some overlapping on there. So we're almost done here. Just like that. And this is a pretty simple card. The fussy cutting of the olives is really all that took me any time. So we've already stamped in our lightest color. So let's go ahead and bring in our old olive, and I will also be using sponge daubers. Now, I did just re-ink my pads here, so I want to make sure that's not too dark. So I'm going to take my green and just kind of tap off on some of that color. I don't want it too terribly dark. So let's see what we get. Take our Stamparatus, and I'm going to use my rag and just put some even pressure on there so we can get a good image. Oh, that looks pretty nice. That's actually pretty dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now take my rag wipe that off just a little bit because we've got plenty of the old olive on there. I want to add some garden green to it, so it's not quite such a dark image. And I'm just going to use my sponge dauber, get some ink on there, and then I can look at my image and see where I need some more color. And I definitely need more color over here by this olive. Same thing on this one in the middle. But I think we've got pretty good color everywhere else. I just want to lighten it up a little bit. I don't want it too dark. I want the shading in there. And this is a distinctive stamp, so you're not going to get a perfect colored image. You will definitely be able to see the distinctive lines in there. You're not going to have a solid color. Okay, so it looks like we need more pressure here. Hopefully I'm not getting my head in there. Oh, that looks good. That looks pretty darn good. I am going to take this one more time, and it looks like this leaf here, I want a little more color on it. Perfect. I love that. That looks so good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to close up our greens because I don't want to stick my hand in them. And the image, the colors will lighten a little bit. They will soften because they are dye inks. So I'm going to clean off my stamp. I'm just using my Stampin' Mist and an old rag, a microfiber towel here. I live by these rags. I use them for everything. I think that's probably pretty good. So now what we need to do is we need to take off our masks, and it's really easy. They come right up. And I'm just going to save those to make another card when I'm done here. So you can reuse these. You could probably get 10 cards out of these. I'm just going to peel those up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in this piece. You will get inky hands for sure. I don't mind that though. It comes off pretty easy. So I don't want to get ink on the image where it shouldn't be. So I am just wiping off real quick. Okay, so this is the masking paper that we cut our olives out of. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip that over because I don't want to get purple where I don't want it. So let's open up our gorgeous grape. And I'm just going to move this down a little bit so you can see. So I've got my sponge dauber here, and I'm just going to get a little bit of color on there. And I'm going to make sure that that mask is all the way around that olive. Same thing over here. I think we'll probably do 2 at a time. And I'm just going to make sure I've got some ink on there. And then let's go ahead and stamp those images. I like to do them just a couple at a time so I can see if I need to add more ink to it, and I think we will add a little bit more. I don't want to add too much though, but I do want to add just a little bit more because I still want to see that distinctive image. Perfect. So now we can do the other olives on here. And I Googled olive branch. It was all different shades of green and then purple. So that's what I decided to go with. I am not really typically a purple person, but I think it looks really pretty here. Okay, and then let's stamp these two. There we go. I think we need to do those two again, real lightly. Not too much. You will get some ink on your hands. I know I try not to, but I still do. And then let's stamp those. Good. I think a little bit more pressure there. Oh, I like that. And then if you're really brave, you can see where I didn't get a real good impression. You can take your dauber and just kind of dab in there. There we go, perfect. Now we have one more olive to color. And I'm just going to make sure that's on there. Hold it down because I don't want to get purple where it shouldn't be. Oh, that's perfect. I think just one more light coating and that will be good. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, that's perfect. I'm not even going to try to touch it up. I like how that looks just like that. And it will lighten up some after it dries and sets for a little while. So let's clean this off. Pull our image out of here, and then we're going to be brave after we cut it out. So I am going to take my second from largest stitched rectangle, and I am going to go cut that out. I will be right back. Okay, so we've got that all cut out. Let's go ahead and get it out of our die. And I am going to be just a little bit careful because I want to make sure, you know what, I have more ink on my hand. Let me clean that off. I want to make sure that that ink is dry. I don't want to smear it. The purples and the blues and the reds, sometimes they take a little bit longer to dry. I'm not sure why, just the ink compound. So let's go ahead and get that out of there. Perfect. And now what we need to do, this is what I was talking about. We need to be brave. I need to bring back in my gorgeous grape, and we are going to stamp sorry on this. And I'm going to bring in a scratch paper because I didn't put my sticker on here. I just want to make sure that I stamp it straight. And that looks pretty darn good. Okay, so I think I know how I need to do it here. We're just going to put sorry down here. You know what, one more time. That's good. Right down here in the corner. That is perfect. I love that. That came out nice and straight. So let's put our ink away. And I'm bringing in a piece of our gold foil. And I cut that just a little larger than my image here. And I'm using gold this time. You can see, I'll show you. This was my very first sample that I did. And I have the thank you for reaching out. It meant so much to me. And then I have the second one I did where I added the sorry. And I thought, you know, I think I want a little more color in there. So then I decided to use some silver foil. And I used the silver pearls on there. And then I thought, well, you know what? It still doesn't have much color. So let's try a little gold and see how that looks. And I think I'm going to really like that. So we need to attach that to our foil. I did cut out the middle because nobody will ever know that it's not there. We need to be a little bit stingy with our foil. So when I use foil, I like to use our tear and tape just because I don't want the glue to seep out. So I'm just going to put some tear and tape here on the edges of our olive branch. And I know I've shown this to you before. It's pretty simple. There we go. And then I just fold up the corners just a little bit, just like that. We're going to do both corners. Just enough so you can grab it and pull it out. And this is a very basic card, but it is pretty striking. I love that purple with the green. And I wanted to do something that was super simple and quick. Now, this doesn't have to be an I'm sorry card. Like, I've got sorry on here, but I think when I send it out, I'll probably write on the inside, I'm sorry for not, talking to you in so long, or I'm sorry I haven't reached out sooner, something like that. I don't typically need to apologize for anything. So, but you never know. It is nice to, when you haven't talked to a friend in quite a while, send them a nice little card. I'm sorry I haven't reached out. And that's perfect. I just pushed down on my corners where I wanted it. And then I can pull out my release paper and it's perfectly centered. So let's go ahead and get those out of there. Just like that. Now we can bring in our card base. Get that creased. Perfect. And then I am going to add some dimensionals behind this. So let's do that. And I probably used more than I need, but that's just me. Let's see, where should we put them? Let's put like that. Just a few on there, and then I think 4 in the middle ought to be good. There we go. Get our release papers off of there. And I wanted to mention, please, if you have not watched my video yet that I did on July 17th, please watch that and comment so you can be entered in my drawing for the blue foil that I will be giving away that I used in that video. So make sure you go over and watch that one. So let's go ahead and get this nice and centered. I'm hoping it's centered. I'm behind it a little bit. That should be good. Give it another little crease. And then I am going to bring in some of my new favorite red and green adhesive backed pearls. Now, when I link these in the catalog, they are called Festive pearls. So you may notice that difference, but it is the same thing. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in some of our gold pearls down here for this one, since we used the gold foil behind it. I don't know what do you think? Should we do 3 or should we do 5? You know what? I think I kind of like it with just 3. I think that looks pretty. What do you think? Isn't that nice? And it was so quick and easy. Oh my goodness. So we've got one here in the gold foil. We've got one here that I did in the silver foil with the silver pearls. We've got one here that I did with the gorgeous grape paper behind it. And I just used our regular pearls. And then one more sample. I used a different sentiment on that one. And that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.